Hello, hello, hey, sweet people. Welcome to another episode of Inglês no Rádio. My name is Foster, and this is an episode with a lot of first time that we are doing a three-person interview. The first time, okay, let me stop and think about this. Recently on the show, we had asked Jackie, who's a famous YouTuber that teaches English, and I told Jackie she is the most famous person that we've ever had on the podcast. And I think today we have someone more famous. Sorry, Jackie. Love you. Today we have Carina Fragozo from English in Brazil. Hey, Carina.
Hello. You are also famous. Come on, you have a very successful podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Jackie, I love Jackie.
We all
and it's
love
so nice
Jackie.
to be here.
Yes.
Oh, she's amazing. She's my friend. She's not only someone I look up to, she's actually my friend, and I love listening to her. She has a lot to share.
Yes, she's so nice. Every time that I speak to her, she's always like, Alexa, it's so nice to talk to you. We love you guys. Da, 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 da. It's so amazing. And I'm here as well.
It is.
And Alexia is here.
Yes.
Hey, Alexia. So just to paint an audio image, we have three people, three microphones. Alexia and I are in the same studio together, and Carina is somewhere. Where are you?
I am in São Paulo now, in my home.
Nice. How's everything going in São Paulo, just out of curiosity?
Well, it's a sunny day here, and the first thing that came to my mind was the situation regarding COVID, and it's getting better here. I'm feeling more comfortable to go out. Of course, always wearing a face mask and being very careful, like to keep social distancing. But I'm starting to feel that I'm alive again because it was so difficult. And now I think people are starting to go out a little bit more. So I'm starting to feel a little bit more optimistic here.
Yeah, I think it's the same for us here because in Portugal, we have already 85% of the whole population vaccinated right now.
Oh, with the two shots?
Yes, with the 2 doses,
Whoa.
and it's amazing. So now we can come to our co-working and not wear masks anymore, and we are
Really?
feeling a little bit more like back to normal. And I'm still taking baby steps and not doing that much yet, but like it's normal life, almost that.
Yeah, it's still kind of weird. Everything's weird, but I'm feeling a little more optimistic.
Because we are a little bit insecure because we've been through so many difficult things. But do you think it will ever be normal again? Do you think we will feel
Nope.
like it's normal life again? No. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know what normal was to begin with,
Mhm.
and I don't think we're ever going back there.
I mean, I think that
Yeah.
each country will be different. So if I go to Brazil right now, I know that I'm gonna feel a huge change. In Rio, that's where I'm from. And when people visit Portugal, maybe they will see a huge change as well. Like, we don't have lines anymore. Everyone really sees like, okay, there are 2 people inside that small store. I'm not going in there. I'm gonna wait, and then I'm gonna come back later that day. Like things changed a little bit.
I know, but you know that Brazil is different because people are talking about Carnival now. So they're planning to have parties in February. And I was like, okay, Carnival now? Are you serious? So I'm not sure. Maybe things will be a little bit more normal here before it gets normal everywhere in the world. but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
I am still not normal, and I hope I will be one day. But I have a son, a 2-year-old son, and he's really addicted to cleaning everything. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? So he's like always putting like hand sanitizer, and he has, those tissues, baby tissues. So he cleans everything. I was like, oh my God. I think that's a result of the pandemic. So he's going to be like obsessed with cleaning.
It's
Silver linings from the pandemic.
Yes, it's a new generation. He's from Gen Z or the new one already? I don't know.
I have no
I
idea
have
what the
no
new
idea.
generation will
Yeah.
be. He's a baby boy. And he's
He's a baby boy.
very clean. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Carina, I think everyone that listens to our podcast, they already know that we are super casual. In general, we are very unprepared. For this podcast, at least speaking for me personally, this is like the most unprepared I've ever been, especially for someone with as big of an audience as yours. I've never really watched your YouTube videos. Nothing against you. It's just I already speak English and don't really need to.
No. But you need to, if you want to learn English, you have to watch my channel.
Well, that could be true. I don't know.
You
I
had
haven't
to
seen them.
watch her channel and listen to Inglês no Cru Rádio. That's a perfect duo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also English in Brazil podcast. Come on. I also have a podcast now.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah, so I think most people listening probably know who you are, what you do. But I would love to know kind of, you've been doing this for a long time, making YouTube videos, teaching English to Brazilians. We've also been doing it for a long time. I was thinking today, like, it's more than 10 years for me. And I'm curious about, like, what are some of the things that you've learned teaching English to Brazilians?
Oh, that's a very general question. And I have so much to share. So I've been on YouTube for
I ask
about...
very open-ended questions.
Yeah, it's like I could talk about everything here, about anything. So I've been on YouTube for 7 years now, but I've been a teacher for about 15 years because I started teaching in language schools and even regular schools here in Brazil, high school students. So I have lots of experience with many kinds of students, all kinds of, all levels, all ages. And I've always been really happy doing what I'm doing, doing what I do. Then I started YouTube, and I noticed that the responsibility is even bigger when you're on YouTube, because I used to say things like, well, you shouldn't say this because people don't speak like this. And then I would get a comment, well, but here in Scotland, everyone speaks like this. But here in Australia, this expression is very common. And I was like, okay, or even in the United States. So here in Texas, everyone uses this expression. And I was like, okay, so I don't have only a group of students, a group of Brazilian students here. It's native speakers watching me. It's teachers watching me. It's everyone watching me. I don't have any control over my audience. So I started to think that the responsibility is really, really big. So I have to be very careful about every word I say. So, well, it's not that common in this area. Maybe the most polite option would be this one, but it's not wrong, you know? So I started paying much more attention to the way I teach. And I think that if I went back to teaching English, like private lessons, I'm not teaching private lessons anymore, but if I restarted doing this now, I would be as careful as I am on YouTube now, because there's not only one English. English is a global language. People speak in different ways in every corner of the world. So I think the most important lesson that I've learned is be careful about what you say.
The main thing you've learned is be careful with what you say. I totally understand where you're coming from, especially on YouTube. People can be crazy. And I'm just thinking about how different that is from what we tell people, is like almost don't worry about what you say. Like anything works as long as you're saying something. So, do you see that as a contrast? Do you feel a lot of friction with that? Because our real goal is like getting people to talk in the first place. Do those words make sense?
Yeah, I think I understand what you're trying to say. So, of course, I want my students to feel confident, to feel comfortable, and to communicate. So this is the first and main step. You need to communicate. It doesn't matter if you're making mistakes, if your pronunciation is not perfect, if you say word instead of world, if it's in context, probably people would understand you. But I don't think that as a teacher, I would say, well, you can speak anything and that's fine. You don't need to learn more. I always encourage my students to do their best and to learn it more and more, because I think that's the beauty of language learning. You want to learn more. Of course, you don't need to speak like a native. Of course not. But it's so nice when you learn another expression, or you improve your pronunciation, when you have more vocabulary to express what you want to say. Because of course you can communicate with a very limited vocabulary, and that's fine. But when you learn more words, more expressions, more collocations, you feel more confident. You feel more independent to be yourself. And so that I think we have to find a balance. Of course, people would understand you if you just go to McDonald's and say number 1. You can just say 1. You can just use your finger and say, and you get your meal. But you don't want to be like that, right? You want to communicate better. So I think we have to go step by step. First step, communication. Just try to make yourself understood. Speak the way you can. Don't worry too much about mistakes and pronunciate and having the perfect pronunciation. But then, as you listen to the language more and more, and you get in touch with the language, you will learn more and more, and then you'll feel more confident. And then you will be improving your English over time. It doesn't have to be like in 1 year, in 5 months. It can be over 10, 15 years, you know?
Yes.
Which is my case. I'm learning every day.